I was supposed to feel proud that day. Like, look at me. I've done it. I'd spent 2 years designing and building my dream home, a fully off-grid masterpiece perched high on a ridge above the Nevada canyons. Solar panels, backup water tank, underground fiber optics, seismic insulation, the works. This was going to be my sanctuary, the place I could finally breathe live freely in the middle of nowhere on my own terms. I pulled up the gravel driveway in my F-250, a trailer hitched behind me. I was ready to unload the first round of tools and equipment, a couple of contractors following close behind with modular furniture and security system parts. The sun was just beginning to rise behind the mountains, and the air-dry electric was perfect. This was supposed to be my first quiet morning in my own home. But as I neared the gate, I saw two dark SUVs parked across the entrance. Two guys in HOA security uniforms stood by, arms crossed. And right in the middle, a woman wearing a beige skirt suit and holding a leather binder. She looked at me like she was about to drop some bad news, and boy, was she right. She stepped up with the confidence of someone who already knew she had me cornered. "Mr. Gavin Morris," she said as if I didn't know who I was. "That's me," I replied, already feeling the annoyance rise. "Can I help you?" She didn't even crack a smile. "I'm Karen LaRange," she said, puffing out her chest, "president of the Silver Mesa Ridge HOA. We're here to inform you that you're not authorized to move into this structure." I just stared at her for a moment, trying to wrap my head around it. "What?" "This property has not yet been reviewed or approved by the HOA's Architectural Integrity Committee," she continued, a little too pleased with herself. "The fence is in violation of community standards. The color of your paneling reflects light toward the main road. Additionally, the structure does not meet the established neighborhood profile requirements, so I'm afraid you'll need to turn around." I could barely process it. This woman was telling me I couldn't even step foot in my own house. I blinked, incredulous. "This is private property. I'm not in your HOA. I checked, double-checked, hired a land use attorney, and I knew damn well that this ridge lot wasn't part of Silver Mesa Ridge, or any other association for that matter." Karen, with that condescending smile, nodded like she was explaining something to a child. "I understand your confusion. There's been an administrative delay. This parcel is under aesthetic review. Until that's resolved, you don't have permission to enter." I couldn't believe it. "You think I need your permission to walk into my own house?" She looked at me like I was the crazy one. "You may not understand the process, but we're simply enforcing community protocol. You can file an appeal with the board." I couldn't take it anymore. I was done. "Get off my property," I snapped. Her eyes hardened. "You're escalating unnecessarily." "No," I said, stepping closer. "You're trespassing. Move your cars." One of her goons stepped forward. "We're here to prevent unauthorized occupancy." I stared at them. "I'm the one who holds the deed. I built this place. I designed every square inch of it myself. You're trespassing on my land, and I'm telling you, you have no jurisdiction here. Either you back off or I'm calling the sheriff." Karen smirked. "You know what? Let's do that." Before I could even pull out my phone, she was already on hers. I stood there stunned. She was calling the cops on me for trying to move into my own home. A sheriff's deputy rolled up 10 minutes later. He looked tired, probably because it wasn't even 9 a.m. yet. "Got a report of a possible illegal entry," he said, sounding like he couldn't care less. Karen jumped in, eager to play her part. "Yes, officer. This man is trying to unlawfully occupy a property that's not approved for residential access by the HOA. We're protecting community standards." I stepped forward and handed the deputy a folder. "Here's the deed that permits the zoning map and the legal parcel registration. This property is not and has never been under HOA control. It's a private parcel." Karen hovered, trying to peek at the documents, but the deputy raised his hand. "Ma'am, please let me read." He flipped through the documents, nodding a few times. Then he looked up at her deadpan. "From what I see here, this gentleman is on his own property. He has the legal right to be here." Karen's face fell. "That's absurd," she hissed. "Look at this map," the deputy said, pointing. "This lot borders your community, but your agreement doesn't apply here. You're trespassing. I'm going to need you and your people to leave." Her jaw clenched. She didn't say a word, just nodded to her goons, and they reluctantly got back in their vehicles. But Karen lingered, locking eyes with me for a moment. "This isn't over," she muttered. "Good," I said, turning my back, "because I'm not building a prison." I keyed in the security code, the gate slid open, and for a moment I thought that was it. That was supposed to be the end of it. But I knew better. The next morning, I was unpacking my monitors in the main room when I heard a knock on the front door. Not the gate, the actual door. I opened it cautiously, and standing there was a courier holding a thick manila envelope with a Red County seal on it. "Mr. Gavin Morris," he asked. "Yeah, you've been served." I signed for it, closed the door, and opened the envelope. My stomach sank as I read it, a letter from the Clark County Office of Land Management. It was a notice that my property was under review for annexation into a neighboring HOA due to community development harmonization. I sat there for a moment rereading the letter. They were trying to forcibly add my land to their HOA. Attached was a petition with forged signatures, including one from Victor Herrera, my lead foreman, claiming to give the HOA rights to oversee my property. I knew Victor. He didn't sign that. My blood boiled, but I was calm. Step 1, contain and assess. Step 2, document and counterattack. I called Victor. He was just as furious. "Hell no, I didn't sign that," he said. "I'll get a notarized affidavit to you within the hour." I called my lawyer, Rachel Doyle. She was already ready for war. "This is fraud," she said as soon as she saw the letter. "This isn't just HOA overreach, this is government-level manipulation." Rachel immediately got to work drafting a formal response and compiling evidence to fight back. But as we dug deeper, we uncovered something uglier. The county official who had processed the annexation request, Travis Bainbridge, turned out to be Karen's nephew. Nepotism at its finest. Rachel wasn't having any of it. While she filed a formal ethics complaint, I was at the county recorder's office digging into the parcel history. It didn't take long to uncover that there had never been any official claim over my land by the HOA. Everything they'd filed was forged. It was clear this wasn't just some bureaucratic mix-up, it was a concerted attack. And now I was going to make them pay for it. But it wasn't just the HOA, the entire community was involved now. As the pressure mounted, I kept receiving calls, neighbors offering their support, lawyers calling contractors telling me they were blacklisted because of Karen's bullying. They tried everything to break me down. But every time they struck, I came back harder. And then, things escalated. One day I walked outside to find my utility lines being marked for something I didn't authorize. The HOA was trying to run new utility lines across my property. No notice, no permits, nothing. I wasn't going to sit back anymore. I filed a formal complaint. I got my lawyer involved. I made sure every single person who had interfered with my property knew that I wasn't going anywhere. Karen thought she could break me. She thought I would cave under pressure. But I was done being pushed around. And when I showed up to the HOA clubhouse ready for a showdown, that's when things got real. Karen tried to keep me out, but I wasn't leaving. It was time for them to face the music. The truth was coming out, and I was done being the victim. I filed my complaints, got the press involved, and soon the whole community knew the truth. The HOA tried to bury me, but I fought back harder than they ever expected. In the end, Karen lost. The state stepped in. The HOA was audited. And when Karen was arrested for fraud, I finally felt the weight lift. I won. And when I looked at the ridge from my porch, I knew that I'd built this house to be mine. No one was going to take it from me. And that, my friends, is what happens when you push someone too far. But it's not over. You know, when it comes to fighting for your property, your rights, and your freedom, how far are you willing to go? What's the line between standing up for yourself and taking it too far? Let me know what you think in the comments. And remember, share your story because we all have battles to fight.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.